Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of 360 Sports. Today, I'm joined here by my great analysts, Ryan, Chooch, and Cameron, and today we're going to be delving into the world of college football. So let's start with our headlines. Over the weekend, Michigan beat the USC Trojans 27-24 on Saturday after only throwing for 32 yards in the entire game. After losing a lot in the offseason, the Wolverines are still finding a way to get it done. Do you think they'll make the playoffs, and where does USC go from here? Ryan, get us started.
I mean, USC's run defense looked horrible.
As always.
They allowed 290 rushing yards throughout the entire game, which to me is just embarrassing. I mean, Penn State did do that. They allowed however many rushing yards to Donovan Edwards and Blake Corum last year. Yeah. But regardless, like, USC is a top 15 team, top 10 team, and they're going into the big house. And, like, Michigan had a statement game. Everyone thought Michigan was going to suck this year, and, I mean, if Michigan can't throw the ball, they're not going anywhere. They're not going to the playoffs. As much as people want to say Michigan's going to go to the playoffs, they can't do it with the quarterbacks they have. I mean, USC, they can still make the playoffs. It's just going to be a lot harder now.
I still think they will end up making the playoffs. I don't think that they lose any other. I think they come here and they lose, which isn't even a bad loss. I don't think we're going to lose.
USC?
Yeah.
No, they go
USC,
to
we go to
USC.
I think we go to USC and we still beat them. Apologies. But they still have Nebraska on the schedule. I think they beat Nebraska, Notre Dame, UCLA, Washington. I don't see them losing to any of those teams. Then again, they got to start waking up and they got to start taking defense seriously. It's kind of a joke. They do this every single year. And
they did it with
it's
Caleb.
just, like, watching that game was so frustrating as a Michigan hater because it's like a team that can't throw the ball 32 yards an entire game, that should never get the job done.
Listen, Michigan, they can run the ball all they want, but it's not going to help down the line. You have to, in college football, you have to be a two-dimensional team. We've seen in the NFL how those one-dimensional teams do not work. They just don't work. The quarterback, Alex Orji, had 12 passes for 32 yards. That can't happen in college football.
So J.J. McCarthy looked like...
That's
when
one
he came to
drive
Penn State
of 32
last
yards. Like, that's terrible. They get the win at USC because I don't think USC is that good of a team. I think they're very overrated. I think Riley Moss will be good, just not right now. I think Michigan does not get in. I don't think USC gets in either with their schedule. Michigan's still got Ohio State. USC's got Notre Dame. They got Penn State. I know both are at home, but those are two games they're going to lose.
I do think that Michigan is playing into the system, though, now. You know, the thing with the past few years, Michigan hasn't been incredible quarterback play. Yeah. J.J. McCarthy, played into the system.
McCarthy.
He's good.
He was efficient. J.J. McCarthy was incredibly efficient while as a quarterback at Michigan. And what they had was a two-headed running back monster consistently. Yeah. And now with the emergence of Khalil Mullings this season so far, and Donovan Edwards still being there in the background.
Donovan Edwards wasn't getting,
Mullings with a hot
first
hand.
2 weeks
he couldn't take the ball out of his hand.
Yeah,
First 2 weeks, Donovan Edwards was not there.
I think Edwards is going to be fine. I think Mullings is kind of doing what
More
Corum did to Edwards as well, where it's like, if they're running so well, you can't put Edwards on the field. And Edwards would come out every single playoffs, and he would take Corum's spot back. So their entire offense is it's like an anomaly right now, but I don't think that they could do anything either in the long term.
They got two top
I don't think they're a threat to win
players, too.
They do. I don't think that with their offense they're a threat to win anything. I actually think USC is more of a threat still.
Absolutely.
I think Miller Moss is fantastic. But they need to start taking defense seriously. This happens every year. I don't know why they don't recruit harder. I don't know why they don't find a serious NFL-style defensive guy. But, yeah, they got to start moving forward.
No one wants to play for USC. That's the problem.
Yeah, they don't want to play for Lane Kiffin.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to our next headline. In another big ranked game for the standings, Tennessee beat Oklahoma 25-15. They went into Norman, and the Boomer Sooner crowd was pretty quiet. Pat McAfee picked the Vols on game day. That was interesting. Tennessee is now ranked 5th in the country with a 4-0 record, but they still have to play both Alabama and Georgia. What are your thoughts on the rest of their season?
I think they can beat Bama. I think Tennessee can beat Bama. Tennessee looked... Don't give me that face, Chooch.
I don't know.
I think Tennessee has the playmakers with... I don't know how to pronounce the quarterback's last name.
Nico Lamavey.
Yeah, no, I'm not even going to
like that.
Nico.
Yeah, call him Nico.
So, Nico played really well against Oklahoma, and Oklahoma's always had a pretty decent defense, pretty decent offense. The thing I don't understand is benching Jackson Arnold. He's their, what?
It's
Isn't he a
clearly a
5-star?
scheme issue in my opinion.
Yeah,
He's a 5-star.
Obviously a scheme issue. But I think they can beat Bama, but Georgia's going to smoke it.
I don't think Bama could really give them a run for their money either, honestly. I think that win was impressive. Still, it's a tough road win, hard atmosphere to play in, but the offense didn't look explosive. Oklahoma's offense looked so terrible. I think they would have lost that game to a lot worse teams than Tennessee. So I don't know how I feel about Oklahoma yet. I definitely think they're a far cry from beating Alabama or Georgia, but I don't think they lose any other games either, and I think that's probably good enough for them to get in the playoffs. So.
Yeah, even with Tennessee, if they lose to Bama and Georgia, like, they could still be in the playoffs. I mean, their resume is just...
SEC bias is
Yeah.
serious.
Listen, SEC, there might be 4 SEC teams in the playoffs this year. I think Nico is one of these quarterbacks that will look down the line and be like, this is maybe one of the greatest college quarterbacks. He is that good, I think, in my opinion.
The talent is there.
Next year, he gets the 2 best tackles in the 2025 class. Yeah. He's going to be protected for the next 3 years. Like this,
is he a freshman?
He's his redshirt freshman.
Yeah.
But like he's getting, and now Tennessee, they're bringing in kids. It's SEC football. I think they do beat Bama or Georgia. I think they would rather beat Georgia than Bama. I think Bama has too much explosiveness on offense. I think Tennessee's line with James Pierce Jr. They can get to the quarterback, and their defense loves disguising it. Almost reminds me of a Brian Flores defense, Minnesota.
Love that.
He gets the disguise. He does like DBL mug. He drops coverages. Tennessee, not just this year, but for going in the future, this team's going to be one of the top in the SEC.
I agree.
Well, personally, so far, I love watching their receivers. I mean, Dante Thornton and Drew McCoy, they've been electric so far. And their defense has been impeccable. They're 5th in the country right now. Through 4 games this season they've played, they've allowed 28 points. That's a touchdown per game.
That's crazy.
Defense like that can get you far, especially in the SEC where a lot of times you have these high-powered offenses. If you have a high-powered defense to stop that, that can be incredible for your team.
And we're talking about all these good things about Tennessee right now, and I am saying I don't think they can beat Bama or Georgia, but we're not talking about their rushing offense, which has, I think, 900 rushing yards, and I believe they're top 10 in NCAA.
That's insane.
So that's impressive. I'm
5.
saying a lot of good things about them, but I don't think that they're explosive enough to beat Georgia or Bama.
Ooh, all right.
Well, you bring up Georgia and Bama. Conveniently, that is our 360 Sports Game of the Week. Next week, we will see Georgia versus Alabama. Who are your guys' X factors for this massive SEC ball game here?
I didn't choose players. I just kind of chose like things that the teams need to stop. So for Georgia, X factors, they need to stop Jalen Milroe's legs. I mean, Jalen Milroe is one of those quarterbacks that can escape the pressure and he can extend plays, and that's when he can get a lot of his throws. Like we all remember Auburn, Bama, 4th and 31.
Electric.
Crazy.
That came from Jalen Milroe extending the play. Granted, I think they rushed 1 defensive lineman. But I mean, if they can contain and stop Jalen Milroe and force him to make a play in the pocket, I think I think they'll win comfortably if they can stop Jalen Milroe.
I think Georgia looks pretty vulnerable offensively right now. Their defense still looks great, but on offense, Beck doesn't look the same without having Bowers and McConkey. And that's no slight on him. I mean, nobody would. But the offense lacks like a really big play threat right now. And I think the story of this game is going to be Ryan Williams and Jalen Milroe. And Milroe still, to me, from when he started last season and got pulled and then went back in, every single week he impresses me a little bit more with his mindset and just the way that he plays the game. So honestly, I think this is going to be an upset. I think Bama is going to win this one.
Listen, I did some X factors for Georgia. I think it's Malachi Starks against Ryan Williams. Bama's Ryan Williams and Georgia's Malachi Starks. I mean, Malachi Starks is a safety. He's a deep safety. Drops into coverage. He comes up, hits the run. They blitz him a lot. Ryan Williams they're going to be taking shots downfield, and he's going to be on Ryan Williams. And listen, Ryan Williams is a kid. A freshman. He's 17 years. He's older. He's younger than us.
I am 4 years older than Ryan Williams.
Yeah, like that.
I'm
and he's playing freshman ball at Bama. Listen, Malachi Starks, if he can cover Ryan Williams, I think Georgia gets it done. But for me, I think Bama gets it done in the end.
Me too. I think this is going to be the game that we remember from Milroe at Bama.
I would hope so. I think Milroe gets it done.
I got my X factor for Bama, and all I wrote down was pray. I think Georgia wins this game comfortably.
Okay. Oh,
going into Bama, I mean, if they were at Georgia, I think it would be a way blowout, like a huge blowout. Yeah. But I still think Georgia wins by 2
We said that
scores.
last year, and Bama went in there and beat them.
I think they do it again.
And Milroe got better, and then he's got some better weapons. But
yeah, I mean, I get that.
Here. Someone says, "Hey Cam."
There you go.
I don't know.
Some recognition.
I don't know. Probably one of my friends. I don't know.
All right, well, I'll give my X factor. You guys talked at length about Jalen Milroe. I think he's absolutely incredible. And I think the story from the Rose Bowl last year, the heartbreaking loss where he slips on a play where they should have had a touchdown
Yeah.
to take the game into second overtime. It's a tough play, but he has been so good so far this season. And like you said, the improvement from him being benched last season is immense. And he has become the premier weapon of that offense, whether it's on the ground or through the air. And I mean, having a target like Ryan Williams to throw the ball to, a dude who just can go long and just beat corners consistently, that's pretty impressive, especially for his age. Personally, I still have Georgia inching it out. I think the defense is the X factor. I think Milrow's going to make his plays, but I think Georgia's going to find a way to contain him enough to the point where they could squeak out a win.
Tables divided.
That's exactly what they got to
Yeah.
do.
Listen, Milrow's like Lamar. Let's see what he can do with his arm.
I mean, yeah, Lamar can't really throw the ball right now, so.
That's true, but see what Milrow does.
Don't do that.
I'm just saying, he hasn't been good throwing the
Yeah, he
ball.
looked pretty good yesterday.
Well, speaking of another ranked matchup, we will see Penn State face Illinois on Saturday with a game with whiteout energy. It is going to be in Beaver Stadium.
See what
So,
happens.
guys, how do you think Penn State's going to fare against the Illinois Fighting Illini?
The last time Illinois came into Penn State, I was a freshman, row 4, right behind the end zone, and I watched as Illinois beat us in the 9th overtime. So this game has a lot of
True.
heart in this. Yeah, pretty much. So I think it's going to be a lot closer than we expect. Big Ten play opener, obviously, for Penn State. And Illinois is already coming off a big win against Nebraska in Nebraska.
True.
It's very, very hard to play in Nebraska. And, I mean, Altmaier looks his best. Like, his best.
He has improved a lot. I didn't think that he would
Yeah.
look nearly this good last year. So
And, I mean, they've got all the momentum. I think Penn State, I think they benefit from having it be a 7:30 game. But, I mean, it's going to be real close.
The energy is going to be. But Penn State's out without Kevin Winston Jr. That's a huge blow in the second year. I mean, that's an All-American right there. They lose. I mean, listen, it's Drew Aller. This is his time to shine. If he wants to go to the next level and put Penn State on the map, this is the game right now. He's got to be able to move around like he did Saturday with Kent State. Now, Kent State, granted, not a very good team, but Drew Aller has to make plays, and I want to see what this offensive coordinator does with him. Let's see if he changes up. But feed Singleton and Catron, too. Get them the ball early and get them going fast.
Got to establish a run game.
yeah. I think after that Nebraska game, there was a lot of talk going on, like, oh, they're scary. And we do need to take them seriously, but the closer we get to the game, I feel a lot more comfortable. Honestly, I think that game that you're speaking of from our freshman years, I think it's still in the back of their mind. I think it means a lot to them. Defense I was worried about, but they came back this week. They look super motivated after what Bowling Green did to them. Not going to talk about that.
absolutely.
Yeah.
But I think at the end of the day, our speed and our strength just blows them out of the water. I think the run game for Illinois is scary, but I think we can
Defensive
contain
line
that.
has looked really good.
Yeah,
this
I
year.
know. They have.
Yeah.
They look a lot more improved. I think our speed on the outside wins us this game. Drew just needs to put balls in the right spot, which he has been doing. I have all the confidence in the world. Not worried this weekend.
Yeah, and it's not just been Abdul Carter. It's been everyone. It's been the whole front four. I mean, Abdul's been getting there, but this whole D-line is just – and I love our linebackers, King, and they're flying fast, and they need to.
Zane Durant's making a lot of plays in the middle as well.
Yeah.
About Tony Rojas.
Yeah.
Urgent
Yeah,
Rojas.
Rojas, my goat.
Flies around.
Everyone
the
knows
field.
it. How about Tyler Warren? That kid's basically our whole
Warren is
– he's that safety blanket
him
for
at
Allen.
QB1.
arguably our best player right
Put
now.
him at QB1.
Listen,
Someone says Jeff knows ball.
Jeff.
It's Jeff.
Oh, Jeff says Luke knows ball.
Oh, there we go.
I got a compliment. That's
That's
very
huge.
nice.
That's huge.
there we go.
All right, well, I'm gonna give a little insight here. I think for Penn State, the key is to not start slow this week. We've
we
kind of
love
seen
to
it with
do.
the first few offensive drives against Bowling Green and Kent State.
Yeah.
Andy Kotelnicki's tried to get a little too cute, and I feel like that if we do that in a game like this, it could kill us.
Yep.
I love getting Bo Perbula snaps. I think he is an incredible athlete, but at some point in time, it's going to have to come to an end because
100%.
there's only so much you can do with a gimmick quarterback. Look at the Eagles in 2020, I believe, with Jalen Hurts' rookie year. They had him as a read option specialist, but eventually, if a quarterback had a bad game, Carson Wentz had a bad game, fans started calling immediately for Jalen Hurts to become the quarterback.
Of course.
I don't want a situation like that to arise over how Drew's played incredible so
Yeah.
far this season.
Yeah,
If he has a good game against Illinois, I think all the noise about him being benched for Bo just needs to stop.
it should be, but
It
I'm-
won't stop. That's
I'm
the
not
thing.
sold on him yet. I'm really not.
No.
I'm not.
It makes sense. I don't want to go through the same thing with Sean Clifford and Drew Allar, and I was on the Drew Allar side of that debate, but it's just not right to have our starting quarterback who's going out there winning us games to just be harping on him the entire time, especially looking in the mirror in the 3-0. Hopefully 4-0 after this week, but we'll see.
Huge win this week.
hopefully.
We need it.
All right, so we're going to switch gears here a little bit. Now, there is a bit of a rivalry at this table, as me and Cameron played on opposing teams in high school.
Yep.
But we're going to talk about our favorite college football rivalries that may have already happened this season or are going to happen. So, Ryan, take it away.
All right, well, my rivalry, I think it's got one of the best names ever. I've got the Egg Bowl, Mississippi State versus Ole Miss. I think it's one of the best rivalries. Everyone's thinking, oh, Auburn, Alabama, and whatever the other one is with the two Big Ten schools. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, couldn't think of that one. Yeah.
But I mean, one, this game's played on Thanksgiving. Two, these teams just flat out hate each other. It's the battle for Mississippi, battle for the Golden Egg. And three, I mean, they've had some very notable games in this series. In 2018, A.J. Brown caught a pass that I think took the lead against Mississippi State. Punches were thrown, benches cleared. And then 2019, Elijah Moore caught a pass to cut the lead to 20-21. Ole Miss was down by 1 point. And he mimicked a dog leg, like peeing on the goalpost of Mississippi
That was
State.
sick.
He got a penalty for it, 15-yard penalty. Ole Miss misses the extra point, and Mississippi State just goes and wins it. So, I mean, I love the Egg Bowl. The Egg Bowl is,
Great name.
It's the best name.
It's a great name.
Listen, playing on Thanksgiving is awesome,
Play on
especially for these
Thanksgiving.
kids.
Exactly. You've got
Got to tune in for that one.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I
terms
think
of
it's
name,
amazing.
I'd argue the Holy War rivals it, but
That is a great
the
one.
Holy
Yeah.
War's good. Yeah.
all right, Chooch, what you
up
got
there.
for us?
Another down south matchup here. I went for Georgia at Texas this year. I think this is not a rivalry yet, but I think this is a rivalry that's going to be pushed really hard by the NCAA in the next couple of years. I talked about how I thought Georgia looked vulnerable so far with their offense, and Texas has so much speed on their offense. The atmosphere in this place is going to be absolutely electric. 1 and 2 teams in the nation right now. There's some stuff going on with Texas. We don't know who's going to be playing quarterback in 2 weeks necessarily, but I think regardless of who's playing quarterback,
Arch.
I
Give
think
me
they'll win
Arch.
this game. I think Arch, talent-wise, deserves to be out there. I think he's proved that. But politically, I think Quinn will be starting. And
Oh yeah.
a lot of teams would be blessed to have Quinn Ewers starting. So
Sure,
there's
absolutely,
no doubt about that. But
Take-
I think this game's going to be an absolute banger. It's going to be electric in there, and I can't wait.
Oh yeah. I mean, Texas has just emerged as like the best team
Powerhouse.
in the nation.
Yeah,
they have been very.
They look
very
so
good.
fast.
football.
It's
Playing some
crazy.
football
It's
down there.
insane.
All right, Cam, your turn.
All right. Growing up, just growing up in a household with Notre Dame. My dad was a Notre Dame fan. Listen, I'm going Notre Dame USC. Right now, they are ranked high, and this game's going to mean a lot to this country. I mean, you either hate them or love them. This rivalry's been 30, 40 years of just blood and pain. I would put this up there with Michigan, Ohio State. This rivalry, this means a lot. End of season, November 30th game. This is going to decide basically maybe who gets in playoffs. I think Notre Dame, without the bad loss to Northern Illinois, I mean, this is their Super Bowl right here to beat USC and see if we can convince those college football guys to let them in. But USC, Riley Moss has looked fantastic, and Riley Leonard for Notre Dame has looked okay. I hope Notre Dame gets the offense going, but this rivalry, you got to tune in for this one.
I am a little worried about the future of this game. I have seen murmurs that Notre Dame is looking to possibly move USC off the schedule.
Yeah.
They have to for
Yeah.
playoff
That should
seeding.
never happen.
No,
honestly.
No,
this
it
rivalry
shouldn't.
needs to stay here.
If anything, they
I hate
get rid
Notre
of like
Dame, don't get me
Louisville or
wrong,
something
but-
like that.
This game needs to happen.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'll give mine.
Yeah, you tell us, host.
Yeah,
Okay.
You tell us, Mr. House.
My rivalry, the backyard brawl. I know it
Ooh.
kind of hits close to
Electric
home
game.
here.
Electric.
We're not
Electric
too
game.
far away from
Great name.
the Steel City,
Yep.
but it was an incredible game this year, and I think this is a rivalry that's truly transcended beyond just the game. I think these two schools in these two areas have just pure hatred for each other. I mean, they even changed the lyrics of one of, I guess, a football fans' favorite songs
Yeah.
just to demean the other team. But I feel like every time you put on the backyard brawl, you are seeing just tempers rising, you are seeing aggression, and you are seeing incredible plays. Like consistently, I feel like this game's come down to one score every time, and it's one play, one mistake that changes the course of this game consistently year after year.
I love that game. The intensity in that game is always like they are playing as hard as Georgia and Alabama play each other. Like they want that win so
absolutely.
bad.
Yeah.
I love that game.
Listen, Pitt's undefeated. They're It's a
is
good
good.
team. I
Making a run.
watched
Eli looks
good.
I watched from one.
Holstein, I
Eli
think he's
Holstein,
four-time
Yeah.
freshman of the week for the ACC.
I thought
Maybe.
Garrett Green and West Virginia were going to be better, but again,
He's done an incredible job so far with that offense.
Yeah.
And I mean,
he has, but
they
it
have
hasn't.
a great target to throw to in tight end, Gavin Bartholomew.
Bartholomew,
I've been
yeah.
high on him.
No.
He's
Played
a
against
stud.
him in high school. Incredibly high on him.
but-
All right. Well, now we're going to move on to our next segment. We're going to talk about our Heisman hopefuls. You know, in these rivalry games, you can make your Heisman moments. So I believe my guy made a pretty big moment in a game against Oregon this season, Ashton Jeanty. Let me tell you about this guy. Boise State running back. Last season, 1,300 yards, 10 touchdowns. Actually, 14 I believe. This season already, he's up to 500 yards, 9 touchdowns. He led Boise State to almost upset Oregon. It was an incredible game. I think he had 192 rushing yards against Oregon, the key facet of their offense. He has made Boise State a legitimate contender to be the Group of 5 representative in the playoff. I think they could get there if he continues to have a monster season.
If he keeps playing the way he does, I bet they will.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. Like
this
I
guy-
think he's on pace for like what 1,700
1,700 yards,
like
like
30 touchdowns.
30 touchdowns
Nasty.
maybe.
That's insane.
Somewhere in that area.
And it's a shame because not a lot of people know about him because
No,
he plays in the
I know.
Group of 5.
Plays in
It's a
Boise
shame.
State.
Plays
how
on
it
the
goes.
Smurf turf.
Hopefully people
Respect
know
to him
now,
for
though.
staying home.
Yes.
Because he had a lot of transfer offers on the table. I was looking at it before the show started, actually.
I'm sure. I mean,
Yeah.
you're going to pay
Yeah.
in the new era of college football, you're going to pay some big money to get a guy like that on your roster.
him.
All
Yeah,
right,
nice kid.
Cameron, take it
All
away.
right, I've talked about this guy before. We're going to see him this week, Ryan Williams. Now, everyone was doing the favorites and stuff. I wanted to do someone that's been electric and has a very small chance. He's got 10 catches for 285 and 4 touchdowns this year already. He's a freshman. He's 17 years old, and he's doing this. He's burning people. This week, we'll see what he does against Georgia and Malachi starts in that secondary. If he gets it done this week, I think he's going to be in that conversation of top 5, maybe even a little top 3, but he's going to have a game, and I think Milroe gets him the ball early and often this game. Listen, this kid is one of the best receivers I've seen in a while come out of high school and just be dominant, just fast. He's got that swagger to him. Is everything you want in an Alabama wide receiver. We'll see him on Sundays soon, I think.
Oh, absolutely. He's absolutely
yeah.
electric.
Yeah, this kid is so
Absolutely.
fun to watch, man.
I mean, we were talking about him. He's probably practicing with the football team right now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
pretty
probably.
much.
Warriors
Or
younger
making
than me.
TikToks.
Exactly.
I've seen that before.
That's the new era.
Yeah, I guess everyone loves
Fan
that.
of him, though.
All right, Chooch.
I went also with the receiver. I went for Travis Hunter. I know a lot of people have a lot of things to say about Travis Hunter and Colorado as a whole, and I understand it. But at the end of the day, I think they're great for college football. They're very polarizing, but whether you like them or you hate them, you watch and you have something to say, and I think it's great for the game. Travis is the most talented athlete that has played college football, I honestly think, ever. Just what he does, he doesn't miss snaps, and he's
Oh,
a
I know.
top 10 player on both sides of the ball in the country. Travis is a special talent. I love what they got going on in Colorado. Honestly, I'm a fan of it, but Travis is special.
Travis, like Tyreek Hill said, this kid's one of a kind. This kid will be
Truly.
number one next year, I
Absolutely.
believe. I don't care if you need a quarterback or not, you're taking this kid. He's that good.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I love the word polarizing to describe that. I mean,
Yeah.
he truly is. The Colorado team itself is
That's
truly
what I mean.
polarizing figures.
I don't think he'd get enough support to really win the award anyways, no matter if he earned it, but it's also a
Yeah.
quarterback award. So
Yeah,
I
that's
understand the
true.
way it
Quarterback
goes.
award.
We could see a
but-
wide receiver, but it's very tough. I think Luther Burden and Ryan Williams and
love
Hunter
Luther
would be the
Burden.
3 that would get him there.
Yeah, Luther Burden's awesome.
Ryan, do you have a quarterback for us? Or?
I do have a quarterback.
Oh.
He actually played in the Egg Bowl last year. It's Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart is playing out of his mind this year. I don't know if you guys knew this, but he has 1,500 yards through 4 games.
that's
Yep.
that's ridiculous.
He's insane. So basically, he's got 12 touchdowns, 2 picks, 1,500 yards. He's averaging 400 yards a game. Granted, they're playing Furman and they're playing
Yeah,
San
they got
Jose
some
State
lower
and-
teams, but still.
Some lower teams, but still, like if you can prove that you can get stats in these stat padding games, like that's why these quarterbacks win these
important.
awards
That's
because
how you
they
get the
play
award.
because they play really well against the bad teams and they play kind of okay or better against.
He's not playing down in the competition.
Exactly.
He's
He's
playing
not playing
very, very
down.
up.
And I mean, he's playing better than ever. I think he could have won it last year, but Jaden Daniels was just Jaden Daniels.
I mean,
and
we're
he-
seeing what he does now in the NFL,
Oh
and
yeah,
it's
and
just
he's amazing.
seeing
But
what
I
he did
mean,
last
Jackson
night.
Dart obviously coming into this season with something to prove. I believe he's a senior.
Yeah.
So this is
Yeah.
last year. He'll probably go, what, early second, late first round.
I wouldn't be surprised if he goes late
He can
first
work
in the
himself
team.
into first for
He
sure.
Yeah,
could.
definitely.
If he goes and wins the Heisman this year, easy.
I think it's easy top 20 maybe.
Yes.
Top 20, top 15 maybe.
Had to know it was going to be a special season after what he did to us last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah, that was nuts.
Again, it does depend on the quarterback market, though, for the draft.
Yeah,
That's a lot of times how
absolutely.
it
Oh yeah,
goes.
absolutely.
That's true.
Seems strong this year, so I guess we'll see.
Never know.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to move on to our final segment here. We've been challenged to answer some college football trivia about this season, so let's see how our knowledge.
Let's
Here we go.
Let's see how our knowledge stacks up.
Most points per game?
Ooh, wow.
Honestly, I'm gonna say it right now. I think it's Ole Miss.
I think it is Ole Miss.
I
I
think
think,
it is.
I think it's Ole Miss.
it is Ole Miss.
I think
We don't get consensus here, Ole Miss.
I think it's Ole Miss or Tennessee. Now Tennessee put 71.
Tennessee just scored
24
24
That's true.
points.
Yeah.
They did
That's
put
what I was
71
thinking,
last
but-
week on Kent State, though. But Ole Miss has been 50, 60.
50, 60.
I would say
Yeah,
Ole Miss. I
I'm
think
going
Ole
Ole
Miss.
Miss. Ole Miss?
Consensus.
I think Ole Miss.
Consensus.
See if we're right.
Yes.
There we
sir.
go.
Huge.
All right.
Boys.
Good job. Good job.
Look
Good
at
job.
that. Great.
Okay, what player has the most rushing
Isn't it
touchdowns?
GT?
It's got to be
No, I
Johnson.
think it's Dylan Sampson. I think it's
Who
Dylan
the
Sampson
heck-
from Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Tennessee. I think he has 10.
Listen,
GT has
listen,
9.
sneaky. South Alabama's running back. I know he's got a couple.
I don't know.
South Alabama's been putting on. It wouldn't surprise me
Give
if
me
it's
a
him.
name. I have no idea.
I have
what
no
you're talking
idea about his
about.
name. I watched him the other night. They put like 80 on App State. This kid's
They
got a
did
lot
not
of
put
touchdowns.
80 on App
It was
State.
close.
They put a
I think
lot.
it's
That's ridiculous.
he may be him, but I think it's Genty or Samson.
I think it's Dylan Sampson.
I think
we'll
we'll go
see.
Sampson. Yep.
Dylan
Like
Sampson.
10.
Here we go.
All right. I gotta look
All
at
right.
this.
Oh my god.
We're not doing bad yet.
Players most receiving
Most
touchdowns.
receiving.
Is it Ryan Williams?
He's got 4.
I want to say
I mean,
Trey
just Trav.
Harris.
He is
Ole Miss.
Trey Harris.
Oh,
I want
yeah.
to say Trey Harris.
Trey Harris from yeah.
Probably.
It's Ole Miss season, man.
It is
There's
Ole Miss
Nick
season.
Nash, I think his name is, from San Jose State, has like 1,600 receiving
San
yards.
Jose- really?
No, not that
Dude,
many,
I've
but
never heard of
he's
that guy.
Going
I
off.
have no idea who you guys are talking about.
I think we're just divided here. Let's see who the answer is.
no
I think it's
idea.
Trey.
Nick
Nash.
Nash.
There?
Yeah,
Yo,
wow.
good pull.
That's incredible ball knowledge.
I-
Wow.
God, see,
Twitter
I could
does me
never.
wonders.
I would've put
sometimes.
Travis.
Twitter does me wonders.
That's
That's
impressive.
a
I
hell
can't
of a
believe
That's
that.
impressive.
Yeah.
I cannot believe
Yeah,
that.
that's a
About that.
pull.
I can't believe myself, to be honest.
That's some ball knowledge right there.
Yeah, any others?
Is that all we
or
got?
Is that,
Is that
it?
it?
Is that the
I
third?
believe that is
There
all
it
we
is.
have. So
That's
that
all
is all we have for you today. Thank you for watching, and please tune in tomorrow when we will see the rest of the crew recap the playoff push for the MLB and what's
Ooh,
going on
MLB.
over in Major League Baseball.
Go Phils.
Go Phils.
Go
Once
Phils.
again,
Red October.
once again, thank you for watching, and please have a good day.